Hope everybody's having a great day. And life is good, easy, happy. Hio's here, making sure I don't screw up in her jaunty spring Jackie. As she's gotten older, her hair is a bit thinner, so she needs a little warm up. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts. Really delighted you're here and that you're interested in what we're doing in the coaching program. And as we're getting everybody in the room and kind of settling in, I would love to hear what you want to get out of this call and what you think the program can do to support you in your mission to help people and their pets. And you're welcome to unmute and chat. We're a relatively small group today, so excited to hear what you've got to say. Or if you want to drop it in the chat, do that. Let me know where you're from as well. We'll check out what's going on. So we've got a couple of folks from our team here. Ronna Solomon, who's our enrollment officer. Many of you may have spoken with her already. And Delora DeVore, who is our program manager and one of the very first people to go through the coaching program. And then Dana Brigman, the well-oiled canine, one of our graduate holistic pet health coaches. Hannah Manawat is here. The other Dr. Ruth Roberts and Erica, our liaison for the coaching program, is here, the Holistic Pet Health Coach Program. And so that's where we are. Kim from Abingdon, Mass. Great to have you here. And Katie, I would never hold Los Angeles against you. Cheryl, welcome from Elkhart, Indiana. Sandy Reynolds has jumped in. She is another one of our graduate holistic pet health coaches and is also an enrollment counselor. Brenda from Santa Fe, Texas, welcome. Cindy's from Fernandina Beach. I'll be darned. I had a really good friend who grew up there. It's a lovely spot for sure. But you're flying, so God help you. Hopefully your plane isn't late. And then Shirley from Lake Anna, Virginia. Welcome. Sheila from Michigan. Colorful Colorado. Karen, welcome. And State College, Pennsylvania. Mary Jo grew up in near Reading, Pennsylvania, and had a horse farm in York for a lot of years. Suzanne from Chicago, and Poppy's in the background. Right on. Glad everybody's hanging here. East Tennessee, Christy, welcome. Any vacation at Fernandina Beach growing up? That's a trip. And Laura's here from Lebanon, Tennessee. Welcome. Xana from San Diego and Brooklyn. You're going to cover both coasts. That's awesome. Libby, Reston, Virginia, lovely area. Cool. So welcome in, you all. Let me know kind of what you're wanting to get out of this call and why you're here. We're super excited that you are. And we want to make sure that we are getting you what you need. And Regan from Somerville, South Carolina, moved here from Fernandina Beach. This is like getting a little trippy, y'all. And I don't know if you knew this, Regan, but I practiced in Johns Island, South Carolina for almost 30 years. So back in the day when Somerville was like forever away from Johns Island and Charleston, and now it's all sort of one big interstate mess. Joelle from New Berlin, Wisconsin, welcome. Cool. Glad everybody's here. If you've got questions, feel free to ask them. I want to make sure you get what you want out of this call and you get the information you need. And Shirley, learning about vaccines versus not vax. And I will tell you, I take the middle of the road approach. I spent many of my early practice years treating, in the course of a spring, hundreds of dogs with parvo. So I take a very different approach and use actually the data that Dr. Gene Dodds and Dr. Ron Schultz developed. North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That's right. Dana, you're up there. Got several folks in there as well. Amanda from Austin. Right on. Groomers want you to present vaccine records just to get their toenails trimmed. It is really frustrating. And it's part of it is the insurance requirements, but it's just do you find like there's just not much rational discussion around this, right? There's the this side and the that side, but not much in between in terms of rationality. Bruce's German Shepherd dog rescue worker and never have enough funds to take the dogs to the vets. Welcome, Bruce. Tighter test for Karen's Maltese. Well done. That can be a feat. All right, cool. So here's what I want to do today is get you enough information so you can understand what the course is about, what our goal is, and help you make a decision if this is the right step for you or if there's another step you might consider. So, and thanks, Zana. So she's already a dog wellness coach for the last several years, studied with lots of integrative vets and others, but not a formal program. Yes, and it is. This is a challenge for us as pet health coaches, is helping people understand why pet health coaches are useful and why they should spend some of that budget with the coach versus the vet. Suzanne's interested in better understanding how to care for her dog and cat holistically, and yeah, and Mother M. Armstrong, sorry, that's running together. Has got a vaccine injured blue heeler, and that does happen for sure. No two ways about it. All right, so congratulations for getting on this call, because change is hard, and if you're here, that means you're looking for change, and you've shown grit and determination just by showing up. So for those of you that don't know me, as I said, I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts. I'm a slow mad right now. I'm in Montenegro. We have an apartment here. My wife, Mary Jo, and I, and Io, our buddy, if we can get her into the screen, have been traveling since 2018. We sold everything we owned in Johns Island, South Carolina, and hit the road. And what happened after that is just crazy. I had a pretty significant mold injury and lost a lot of my cognitive ability. And once we moved out of South Carolina, got out of the humidity, my brain came back online and I started doing consults one-to-one. And that was great. It was amazing to be able to help people all over the country. And as the pandemic approached, what started happening to people was just bananas in terms of what was happening at the vet's office. And indeed, the reason this program got started was one of my clients had a 15-year-old Westie, Rosie, who basically got fired by the vet because her creatinine, and Rosie did have a myriad of health problems, but her creatinine went up by 0.1. So the vet's telling my client, Janet, there's just nothing else I can do for Rosie, and I think your next best step is euthanasia. And Janet's baffled because Rosie is just the same as she'd been the month before. So at our next phone call, I was able to help Janet find another vet and work with that veterinarian to support Rosie. And so Rosie lived another year with really high quality of life until her body truly gave out. But that's a massive victory. And what I realized is that people were being told at veterinary clinics, it's either a $10,000 surgery and MRIs and all of this stuff for euthanasia, and that there was no middle way. And that is super frustrating to me because it's like all of the knowledge that we have about how to do conservative management and how to support the best interests of pets and pet parents had gone out the window. And some of that has to do with corporatized medicine, and some of it was just the sheer overwhelm. Veterinary medicine did not adapt well to curbside service. And for many veterinarians, most of us are introverts and we just like to hide in the back with the animals. That's what continued to happen. And it was difficult for many practitioners to come out of that curbside practice back into supporting clients and pets, while everybody, is trying to figure things out. So what ended up as a result of that is that less and less information was conveyed to pet parents when their pets either had a serious or not so serious health condition. And it's just been crazy. So I've been a veterinarian for 35 years now. I'm certified in acupuncture, food therapy, and Chinese herbology through the Qi University. And I started studying in functional medicine in 2012, completed the IFM course in 12, and have continued to study it lifelong because honestly, that's part of what helped me get well. And so I've started applying those concepts to pets. I sold my brick and mortar practice in 2016. And as I said, we started traveling in 18. And in 2022, we started this program in June. And as I said, Delora was one of the first 3 beta tester students. And now, almost into June of 25, we have 105 graduates. We have 10 to 12 students we're adding every month. And our community is growing. And it has been a frustrating path because of what one of you mentioned earlier. People don't understand how a pet health coach can actually save them money, and not only that, help them optimize their pet's health. So it's our mission to help people learn more about that, and to learn how to use a pet health coach so that when they do have to go to the veterinarian, they have enough information to ask the right questions to get the information they need. And I think that helps my conventional colleagues that are overwhelmed, overloaded, and burned out. And I'd love to invite you to bring compassion in your thoughts to them, even when they are saying and doing things that make us all cringe and hurt, because they don't know what else to do, and they frankly don't have the time to figure out what else there is. This program was indeed designed to support veterinarians and veterinary technicians to learn the basics of holistic health and incorporate that into an integrative type practice. And frankly, the course is qualified for 40 continuing education hours for vets and vet techs. So that's the level of education quality that we offer through the course. And I think it's important for you to understand that. For those of you without a medical background, it may be a bit challenging, but if you're persistent and you devote the time, I know that you will get it. So really, my job now is to empower changemakers in pet health. And that is my full devotion, is to training people in this program, as well as we're doing all the stuff on social media that we've got to do to keep ourselves out in front of folks. So again, my goal is to help you understand what this course can do for you, what's included, and help you determine if the right next step is for you to become a holistic pet health coach. So we've had a couple of other coaches join us. Sandy was able to jump on, which is wonderful. Sheila is here, who is a new student and is digging in with both hands and feet, I think, at this point. I saw Sarah Sharp jump in, from one of our students in the UK. Brilliant woman, registered veterinary nurse that saw the need to pivot her profession into something more holistic. So get those guys to say a few words here and there. And actually, Sheila, since you're unmuted, if you wouldn't mind saying a couple of words about your experience so far, I'd really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thanks for having this call today. Just a little bit of background for the newcomers. I do have my certification in pet nutrition. The reason why I got that is I own a senior dog sanctuary and I've been rescuing dogs for over 30 years. Once the pandemic hit, I saw a huge shift in the vet world. I don't know how many times I had to rush one of our dogs at the sanctuary to a vet, and I'm driving around literally calling every hospital where I have accounts at, and they couldn't take anybody. They wouldn't. So I was stranded at one point with a dog that was actually passing away in my car. And I begged a hospital to take us in. Um, with that being said, the huge need for pet health coaches is phenomenal. The vet world is so understaffed. If many of you don't know, they're the top three on the suicide list. And the expense to attend school is very expensive. I know I needed more information on how the body works in dogs and cats to help my dogs even more. And I'm going to tell you, sorry, I'm going to tell you about a recent experience and how wonderful our community is that Dr. Ruth continues to offer to the world. Our community is full of compassionate, loving, and caring individuals, no matter if you're a graduate or a student. I'm on module 11 right now, hitting it hard because I do see the need. And one of my dogs recently had a lot of health issues. I've only had her for 5.5 months, and I kept reaching out to the community. The worst part was when my vet told me that the results of her recent x-ray last week. He said to let me know what I wanted to do. I called him the following day and he never called back. In my opinion, he left me hanging. I thought that was very unprofessional. But I knew I had a community at my fingertips that I can reach out. I reached out to my mentor, who was traveling, Natalie, phenomenal. And then on Dr. Ruth's coaching call on Monday, which is very helpful, she holds it every Monday for us. I told her the results, and she was there for me, and she agreed with what my decision was, but I needed that confirmation, and I couldn't get it from my vet. If I didn't have the community that I have with Dr. Ruth Roberts, I would probably still be guessing of what I needed to do on Monday. And unfortunately, I had to let her go to the Rainbow Bridge. And Dr. Ruth, when the vet got here, she was already in congestive heart failure. So if I didn't have this community of wonderful people, I wouldn't have the knowledge that I have today on when to make that call, or even have the information of, okay, this is what's happening to my dog. Now I'm going to post it in the community and I'm going to get several pet health coaches answering my question. We can't get that in the vet world today. And that's why I continue with my class, because there's a huge need for us. Huge. And I can't describe enough on the appreciation and the knowledge that I have. First, the appreciation for Dr. Ruth, and the knowledge that she gives us is beyond. And she is a wonderful individual and trainer, and she's here for us. You will never be left alone.
Wow. Sheila, I'm honored because you had a horrible situation you were dealing with, and I'm so gratified to hear that our community did exactly what I wanted it to do, which is to help each other, because we get in this pickle, we get into stuff, and I do my best to keep up with everybody, but the amazing support that pours out from the mentors, from the graduate coaches, from other students, because each person that comes through this program has their own different type of knowledge, and they are amazing in what they can offer and the insights and options that they can offer. And And speaking of insight and options, Dana, if you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself and saying a few words, I'd sure appreciate it. Now, this lady has been doing pet coaching for years and doing really, really amazing stuff in essential oils and homeopathic remedies. And she knows her stuff, and she still took this program and
Yeah,
is
so
with us still.
thank you. And I'll echo what Sheila said about the mentorship program with you, Dr. Ruth and Delora and others. It far exceeded my expectations because I've been through quote unquote certification programs that you laugh at the piece of paper going, oh my God, I could have taught the class, but yours far exceeds that. I use the notes and the videos probably every single day, researching something new and digging a little deeper. But for those wondering about transitions and that sort of thing, I left corporate America and started doing dog training and wound up really questioning why training alone didn't solve some of these problems. And I started looking for answers into the anxiety issues and the aggression issues and all that comes with that. And it led me down a path of nutrition and natural wellness. And like Dr. Ruth said, I went out and got a number of certifications and started this work. But learning the depth that I have learned and being able to go to a call with Dr. Ruth or other folks who are doing the same kind of work and say, I'm challenged, I'm stumped. Where do I even go from here? Has been worth every penny I paid for the workshop because it has led me to be able to do some incredible things with many clients. And I love when they call, I got a call just before Christmas of a lady who was being told by the vet she had to put her dog down because it had kidney disease and put him down. And she called me in a panic as a referral from a friend of a friend. And I said, get in the car, go get some of these things today and call me back in a day or two and we'll really work on a strategy. Well, that was just prior to Christmas. It's May and that dog's kidney values are back to normal. Not only is he still alive, he is fully recovered. And so those kind of stories, I can tell you many just like that. And I get chills when I think about it because I really do at that point know that I am contributing something extremely positive to that parent and that animal's life.
Well done, Dana. And that's exactly it, is that very, very simple interventions can make a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
And, and it's tough. And Xana, you're right. There's a lot of integrative vets doing their own online courses and this and that and the other. And your goal is not to compete with them, but to be an adjunct. And this is the difficulty is how do we get the message across? Some of you who's down here saying that, Suzanne saying that she's done a lot of research and tries to share her knowledge with people, and they're like, what? And that does happen too. So we are a new profession, no two ways about it. And it does take effort to start reaching that client base, but it is starting to take off. And we actually have several coaches that are working with their local veterinarians. And in fact, one of our coaches, Sunny Gandera, goes into her vet's office once a week to help support their clients with nutrition and all of those good things. So it's coming. It's painfully slow. It's much slower than I want to happen, but we are making connections and we are starting to lift each other up. The other thing that's cool is that we've got an event coming up in September in Kansas City because we got to show the Midwest some love. And my goal is to sell, it's a huge goal, is to sell 250 tickets there. But that event is going to be a great way to get media coverage in so that people start to understand what holistic pet health coaches do and also what they can do for average pet parents that maybe are just starting down their path to health. holistic health. So it's coming. That's what my full bore effort is on right now. Um, but we're getting there. It's just slower than I would like it to be, and that many of the coaches would like it to be. So I'm going to show you a little bit about the course so we can take a look at that. One of the many benefits that have already been mentioned are the mentors. Excuse me. And so these 4 folks, Deb Tubert, Jessica Fisher of Pet Parenting Reset, Michael Daly, who actually worked for me in Sundog Cat Moon, and is a canine massage therapist, and Natalie Lampus are our mentors. And their goal is to do a couple of things. One is to help guide you through the course so that you understand the materials. They help you go through a consultation with one of your own pets so that you understand the consultation process, what that means, what it looks like, how it feels. And then they offer weekly office hours. So you're able to come on and with the other students in their group, ask questions, get help, get some help with your homework, clarification on materials, what have you. They are also responsible for grading your homework. And the way the program is set up is that there are indeed 14 modules, and 3 of those are business modules, but each module requires some amount of homework, much of which is a video recording, answering a case question. And this is excruciatingly painful for many people as they get started, because none of us likes to be behind a camera, right? But this is a way for you to hone your skills, show that you know the material, and get it out in a cohesive and comprehensive and easy to understand fashion. Because this is what you're going to be doing on a day-by-day basis, is helping people understand how to support their pets. And then for graduation, the requirement is 2 actual consultations with pet parents that are recorded on Zoom like this. And again, we want to see that you know the material, understand how you came to your conclusions, the materials you sent the pet parent afterwards. And then we're able to say, yeah, this person knows what she's doing, or maybe we need to support a little bit better in another option or in another fashion. So it's just critical, because we want you to go out well equipped and able to communicate clearly your knowledge and stay within the boundaries of the profession. So much like human health coaching, we are not diagnosing, treating, or prescribing. We are supporting pets back towards natural function of the body, even though the challenges they're facing may be very severe. And when we use language like that, we are making clear that we're not substituting for the veterinarians, but being adjuncts and providing the service that they in their offices simply don't have the time to do right now. And that is patient education and helping the pet parent develop options, and holistic options at that. Now, in the course itself, again, this is on a platform called Circle. It is private, and there's a reason for that. There's a lot of shenanigans going out there in social media land, and if you say something that somebody doesn't like, they can just say, okay, that's it, your community is dead. Everything is in this platform. So we've got our feed here, and it looks, much like any social media feed. So we've got some questions for me, some notifications, all sorts of good stuff. And as we go over to look at the actual coach program, again, there's 13 modules. We have divided this up into 4 sections. And the reason is that each module builds on the last. And those first 5 modules in particular are just critical for you to really have down. And so in this way, we force you to get that homework done for those modules, turn it in, and make sure that your understanding of this material is where it should be before you can proceed on. So I think if you, approach it with that understanding, then it's a lot easier. And that way you get the fundamentals under your belt before you move into the next set. So each of the modules has several lessons within it. The vast majority are videos, and then there's also transcripts as well as audio downloads available. And as I said, the first two modules, the first one is the onboarding, and literally we're walking you through how to set up the technology you'll need to do remote work, remote coaching. The second module is marketing, and this is a lot. So we do not ask for the homework on this module until you are 3/4 of the way through the course, because what you think at the beginning versus what you think at the end is going to change about how to position your business, what your niche might be, all of that good stuff. And then we start jumping into concepts in integrative medicine. So basically, integrative and holistic are pretty similar. We're incorporating different aspects of medicine into understanding and application for our patients. And then we jump into food. In full transparency, I am a cooked food feeder. So applying the principles of traditional Chinese medicine and functional medicine. So the original crock-pot diet has been around since 2006. It had its feet tested in the fire of the very first melamine pet food recall in 2007. And all of a sudden I had over 1,000 dogs and cats eating this diet, and the results were astonishing. So there's how to use the diet, how to adapt it, and then we get into the gut. And so if I click into one of the lessons, you can see there's a video, and this one's in 2 parts. This is the gut module and the kidney module, I think are the biggest and most dense. There's a supplement guide with each module, and indeed an overarching supplement guide for the entire program broken into organ systems. And then a PDF of the slides, a transcript, and then the audio as well. And so this way we give you all the assets you might need to be able to learn, because we all learn differently. Some of us need to write, some of us need to watch, some of us need to listen. And so we've got all of those options here for you. The other part of the community that Sheila so beautifully brought out is the community itself. And so we've got several channels in here. So positive updates. If you've got technical issues, there's a channel there. Questions for me, links to the weekly coaching calls, the recordings of past sessions are all here. And there we go. So you can, going back to the very beginning. And then supplementary materials, which sounds innocuous, but indeed it is a boatload of material in terms of PDF downloads, that kind of stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm in the admin, so this doesn't look quite the same as it would for you. And then chat, and then recordings from any events that we've had, chats with the admin. So if you're having problems, you can reach out there. And then when you finish the program, we don't dump you at the curb and move on. We have something called the International Holistic Pet Health Coach Association. And part of that is ongoing coaching calls with me, continued access to the community itself. We have, I think, 40 or maybe even 50 affiliate partners now that offer you a way to make an income. We have worked a deal with a company called Shop.Pet, which is a way to have basically an e-commerce platform without the pain of putting it all together. And it's a very inexpensive way to do it too. I think it's $180 a year. You get a professional full script account. For those of you in the human health world, you know that it is one of the largest supplement prescribing platforms. And so essentially you're getting it at cost. I think it's a 35% discount off of retail to practically every brand in that is big and important in the world. Dr. Chris Besant with Herb Smith has granted you practitioner level accounts. So she is a maverick in her own right and believes that Chinese medicine needs to be democratized. So you get access to wholesale pricing. She assists with herb selection, and we've got a advanced level Chinese herbal course we're working on together, which we hope will be done by the end of June. And actually, Dr. Besant will be with us again in September. And we'll be teaching a tongue pulse diagnosis lab, which will be a lot of fun. So in traditional Chinese vet med, that's a big thing, is looking at tongue color, shape, phlegm patterns, all of that, and then using pulse diagnosis to help determine where there are problems in different elements, and using those two things together to make a better guess at what's going on with an individual patient. So there is all of that good stuff. So let me take a moment and take a breath right now. And Sarah, if you wouldn't mind saying a couple of words, I'd really appreciate it. Sarah's one of our UK students, and it's just doing
Hello,
amazing.
everybody. Hi. Yeah, so I'm from the UK. I'm a vet nurse by sort of trade. Sort of 25 years I was a vet nurse. But I was brought up sort of, holistically. So now I have pets of my own. I just wanted to kind of look after them in a more natural way. So I'm delighted to have found this course, and even more delighted that I'm actually doing the course now. And I get up every day really excited to learn something new. And I love just talking to people about it and sharing, what has already been sort of said before, with Sheila and with Dana. In the vet industry, there is a lot of burnout and there is very high suicide rate, but there's also lots of people who are coming to the vets and feeling really sort of fed up. And I think this is just the perfect way to help clients and their pets and vets as well. So, it's holistic in so many different ways. It's the course is sort of designed in such a way that you can understand it, with the videos, the audio, the transcripts and stuff. It's like Dr. Ruth is holding your hand every sort of episode through. So I don't think there would be a course ever that's going to be like this. You just wouldn't find another course like this, basically. And also you just, again, as people have mentioned so many times, the community here is absolutely fantastic. And I can't wait to be as knowledgeable as everybody else who's already on there. So I just find this whole thing very, very exciting for me, and really exciting for pets and their pet owners, around the world, really. So thank you so much for designing it, Dr. Ruth.
It has indeed been my honor and my pleasure. I mean, this truly is the honor of my career, to be able to take my knowledge and, more importantly, the knowledge of other leading veterinarians and thinkers in holistic pet health, and spread the joy, spread the wealth. Because if we keep it to ourselves and lump it together, then it's not doing any good. Many of us in holistic pet health are my age and older. I'm 61. And we're realizing that we need to get our knowledge into other people's hands, or else it'll go with us into the ground, and that's useless. So that's my guiding light here. All right, let me show you the nuts and bolts of what does this thing cost and all of this stuff. And then we've definitely got some time for questions. And let's see, where did this thing go? And I'll do my level best to answer them all for you. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. Sorry, I got too many windows open still. That's it. All right. So I'm going to go back over to these slides. So again, you've got your mentors. This is just a fraction of the folks that have completed the program. One of the bonuses we are offering, if you sign up by midnight tonight, is access to Dr. Linda Loudon's 10-week Canine Experts Launchpad. This is a $500 course that we're buying for you because our other commitment is to your success as a business person. So that's one of the bonuses. The other is 6 months membership to the International Holistic Pet Health Coach Association. And we are, as we speak, building out a business in a box. My goal is to have that completed by the first week of June. But essentially what that means is that you have a templated website, a landing page, email flows, SMS, a basic course structure, and a community built out, so that you don't have to go and buy the 27 different pieces of software and cobble this together. And then combining that with shop.pet as a e-commerce system, you really have a business all ready to roll. Now, the course cost itself is $6,000. If you pay in full, we're taking $1,000 off right off the top. Plus, you get enrollment into Dr. Loudon's Launchpad course and the International Holistic Pet Health Coach Association. And apologies, the dark has snuck up on me, so let me hit a light. The other thing, not all of us can afford to plunk down a chunk of change at one go. And so we offer a 4-pay plan. So you can divide that into 4 payments and get through the 4-month program in that manner. And then also we have basically an 11-pay. And what that means is that you would invest $1,000 up front and then have 10 additional payments of $500. And this I'm financing for you because all of our students that have made that commitment by and large have kept their promise, and I will keep my promise as well. So it's a lot to digest. That's a lot of talking. And I want to leave you with a couple of things. So this is one of my very favorite quotes in the world. We all think that Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. But what he actually said is, we but mirror the world. All the tendencies present in the outer world are to be found in the world of our body. If we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. As a person changes their own nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards them. And so I will let you think on that. And one other thing, what if starting this program wasn't just making a change in your life? What if it was a revolution in the health of pets and in your own life? And I think that's truly where we are and what we're about. It is difficult at times, but it is absolutely worth it when we see the incremental progress that everybody is making, and that see them lift themselves up into a new level of understanding about how to support their pets and the pet parents around them. So that's all the blabbing I can do for today. And I think there's some other folks on here that have taken the course. Sandy, I know you've completed and you had to run out for a dental appointment. Glad you could jump in. Sandy's a little unique in that, right, most of you are in the pet world. Sandy came from the insurance world. So if you could maybe speak about how that went, that would be amazing.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm like a lot of other people on here and who call to talk to us. We love our pets or have a love for all kinds of pets, but we just don't know what to do with it. And we may think that the career that we're in is working. We may not be super happy or thrilled about it and scared to make the leap. I did just jump off the edge, and I decided that that is what I wanted to spend the second half of my life doing, is helping pets and pet parents. And I think once you complete the course and you really have that interaction with people, it just drills home how much we're needed, because a lot of the people who come to us have spent thousands and thousands of dollars with many veterinarians. They still don't have their problem figured out. How many veterinarians even ask what you're feeding your animal? They don't usually. That's where this program differs, because starting with what you feed, what you're doing with the gut microbiome, getting to the root cause of whatever it is bothering your pet. Yes, we need the veterinarians to help diagnose for us, to do the lab work and those kind of things. But once we can take it on from there, it is so comforting to be able to speak with a pet parent so that they can understand the lab work with you. Because a lot of times the vets just say it's either high, low, or okay. They don't really bother to give you the details, or maybe this one's creeping up and we kind of should watch that. Well, on our side of those kind of things, we need to support that area of the body. So we can maybe make some diet changes or, do something different. I just think that if it is a career change for you, it's definitely something to consider, and don't be afraid. When I'm talking to people with enrollment, there's so many different ideas about how to build this business. It doesn't have to be just coaching either. You can incorporate it with so many other modalities. There are so many amazing coaches that we have that do other things. They may do animal communication, they may do oils, they do homeopathy things. It's really limitless. The sky's your limit. I kind of somehow, in a little backwards way, got into dog treats. I did them for my own pets in the beginning, and then clients started asking to buy them because they didn't want to make them healthy. They're willing to cook, but not crazy about the treat part. Then going to markets and doing other organic type of things in my area, I found that a lot of other people also want healthy treats. But in turn, when they come into my booth, they get to see my before and after pictures. They get to see and hear more about what I do. And so many people respond with, oh my gosh, where have you been? How come I can't find anybody else like this? So don't think that the need isn't there and people don't want you. They do, they just don't know until you tell them. Because once people find out and you've helped their pet and they can see the difference fairly quickly, and a lot of times, they tell everybody they know. And how many people do you know that also have pets? It starts with you. So if you're thinking of making the jump, it's easy enough to call one of us. Ron and I are available, make an appointment, and we can run through those ideas with you, help you kind of think of some business ideas. Going through the program, that's a process throughout the whole thing that you'll be working on. So if you're thinking about it, talk to us. Let's see what we can do to help you.
Thanks, Sandy. Yeah, that's it. It really is limitless, and it can be a little difficult sorting out, okay, what do I really want to do? And I think there's a lot of, we forget, like everything's online right now, and we forget how impactful on the, on your feet work can be. So we had a coach that went into a Petco some near her just because she hadn't looked at commercial dog food in a long time. And she was looking at this woman, looking at the labels on all the pet food and just like looking at bag after bag after bag. And she walked up to her and said, "It's really confusing, isn't it?" She said, "Yes, I don't even know what to do." And so she said, "Here's my card. I can help you with that, and actually help you learn how to make the food yourself, so you're not buying substandard quality ingredients at a premium price." So, that was just brilliant. But that's the kind of conversation that ends up growing your business. I had a dear friend who's an MD, and she was at a cocktail party or for a benefit for something, and handed her card. She had a little chat with a woman and handed her card to the lady and said, "You may not need me now, but you might in the future." And the woman put the card in her purse, and 4 years later calls my friend Lorraine. So that's the thing, is that they may not be ready to have that conversation at the moment, but in the future they may will. And Andrea, and actually, I'm going to shut up. You guys ask questions. If you want to unmute, do it. I'm going to answer what I'm seeing come through the chat. But Andrea, the typical rate per hour, and actually this is one of the things I built out for you, is package pricing, which you can put in your rate per hour that you want to make, and that includes everything. So reviewing the records, doing the emails, all of those things, and then it'll calculate out the whole package price for you. But ultimately somewhere around $100, and somebody may charge $180 or $300 for a consultation. But remember, the work isn't in the phone call. The work is in the preparation for it, and then preparing your plan for that pet parent, and then following up. So I built this out because I think it's super important for you to understand how to build a package so that you don't end up burning yourself out. And I had the help of Jen Maleka, the whole health boss. If you're in the human field, you may know her, Jen. She is an FDN, a functional diagnostic nutrition trained person. But what her niche is helping human health coaches grow their businesses. And so we've developed a really complete program for you. I mean, there's so much stuff we've done. I just can't even begin to get it all out there sometimes. So questions, fire away.
Dr. Ruth, I'm off mute. Can I ask a question?
Please.
I don't see how to put my hand up.
You're doing
physically.
it, Sana. Good to see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hi. I can't see you for some reason, but anyway, thank you for this call and for your program. I'm sorry it didn't exist when I was cobbling together an education after studying integrative health coaching for humans. That was my original certification through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. Anyway, I guess my question is, given some of the background that I shared, the various certifications, Reiki and animal communication included, what is the response that you get from your colleagues? Because even my own dog Django's integrative vet and the vet she referred me to, who is an internal medicine specialist when Django got autoimmune hepatitis, they seemed to appreciate what I did, took my business cards. One of them is even one of the vets I studied under. She's an integrative vet, well known here in San Diego. Never once did I get a referral. So I'm just wondering, do they forget that your students who become the pros, that they exist? Because I mean, it takes, a month or more to get an appointment. So why don't they offload some of the burden to other professionals who aren't on their level, of course? I mean, no health coach should claim to be a doctor or a vet, depending on, the animal. But I'm just not, I just haven't seen it happening where there have been any referrals come this way. So what have you noticed with your colleagues who are vets, whether conventional or integrative?
It is super frustrating. And
Yeah.
so we went to the American Holistic Veterinary Medical Association meeting, and the response was, "Oh my God, where have you been?" Or it's like, and literally the keynote speaker spent 20 minutes telling me how horrible her practice life was. She couldn't keep anybody on because UC Davis could pay them more and blah, 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 blah. and they're all on Prozac, and she is too because she's so stressed out. And when I told her who I was and what I did, she looked at me and said, "What you're doing is wrong," and spun on her heel and left. And it's like, I can't do anything with that.
Whoa.
So what I can tell you is that veterinarians, we are introverts. We are very fearful. We are all victims of imposter syndrome, and we are afraid of change. And so to give you some clue about that, I graduated from veterinary school in 1990. They have been talking about creating a paraprofession like a physician's assistant since 1990. And
Wow.
Colorado, I think, finally passed a bill in the state to create a designation and to order a training program to be created at Colorado State University. So it's painfully slow, and it's not a one-off. And so the typical progression in coaches that have been successful in working with their vets is the first meeting is like, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. And the second meeting is, what is it you're doing again? And then the third meeting is, I've got this dog. I can't even figure the feud out. Can you help me out with this? And then so on and so on and so forth, until there is a relationship. So the deal is you don't want to go talk to the vet. You want to go talk to her. And I'm saying her because I think 75% of veterinarians at this point are female. You want to go talk to her receptionist.
Interesting.
So you got to go, this is the drug reps path. And this is the deal, is that the veterinarian will not take action because they cannot get into a space to have more bandwidth to think about it. But if her staff is like, holy crap, you will not believe what Xana did for my dog. And they start talking to each other, and they start telling clients who are like, I'm incredibly frustrated. Here, this lady helped me out with my dog. That's the path. It's not the vet. The vet will eventually get it, but we are a fearful lot. So I hope that helps you.
Yeah, it does. No, I appreciate the candor, and it's also sort of validating. Like, okay, so I'm not the only one who gets the like blank stares or crickets, whatever it may be, basically a non-response. Or just, like with my own dog's integrative vet, she was receptive, responsive, but I guess I'm just not top of mind when she's slammed. She just doesn't think to refer these people out who don't have time to wait 6 weeks for her Zoom appointment of 45 minutes and $500,
Yep.
So
Right
that's
on.
interesting. So just a follow-up. How many hours did you say it is per week? And this is offered, people can start the program any month? Is that what it is?
That's
or every
right.
quarter?
So we offer rolling enrollment. Most people end up
okay.
starting around the first of the month, just because that's when things sort of are ready to be brought into fruition, if you so to speak. And then how much time do you have to put into it? Honestly, because of the education you have already and the work you've been doing already, you may be putting somewhere in the order of 6 to 8 hours a week into it. If, for somebody like Sandy, maybe 10 to 15 hours. It just depends on your level of previous education in the medical field. I mean, you're trained essentially in functional medicine, so that part should be easy. The thing that is difficult for most folks is the traditional Chinese veterinary medicine, because it is an entirely different system of medicine. And it's like, oh, wow. So it is a time commitment, but I think it's well worthwhile. And I think
Okay.
given where you are, you'll breeze through it pretty quickly.
Thank you. Yeah, I just have to have a heart-to-heart with myself to decide if I want to dive in further. And I love your program. Wish it existed when I was starting out, or if I want to go the more of the grief support route, which is something that I'm dealing with myself since Django passed.
And that those are not mutually exclusive. So,
No.
right, because one of the things that comes with grief counseling is before that, right? Palliative
Yeah.
care and then hospice.
You got it. You got it.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a
And
question
so
of what I have time for, like now in the next 6 months versus a year from now. But you've been on my
totally
radar
get it.
for a couple of years now, so I appreciate your time and what you're doing.
My pleasure. Glad you joined us today. Cool.
Thanks.
What else can I help answer for folks? Algo más? Sing it out or post it or whatever you're comfortable with. Happy to answer any and all questions. While you're thinking on that, I'm going to do a quick recap for you. 14 modules. Actually, there's a bonus module on supporting heart function. So they cover the physiology of each organ system, functional medicine aspects, traditional Chinese veterinary medicine aspects, 3 business building modules, mentor to support you, coaching calls with me every Monday. The coaching calls are kind of cool because the first one is graduates and students. The second call is students only, and then the last one is just for graduates. So a nice mix. It's great to have the grads come in and explain some of the cases they're working with as well. An incredibly supportive community in Circle. And again, the payment options are pay in full. Let me pop back to this slide. We have a 4-pay program, and so that's $1,500 a month, and then over 11 months, $1,000 to get you started, and then $500 a month for 10 months. Now, if you make a commitment before midnight Pacific tonight, we're paying for you to go through Dr. Linda Loudon's Launchpad course, so business course, and then the other bonus is the 6 months of free access to Holistic Pet Health Coach Association. And Linda, go for it, please. And you're muted, my dear. Should be a little microphone down to your left.
Okay, that got it.
That's it.
Yeah. I resonated when you said that you had to move out of a moldy or out of a moist area because your cognition had tanked as a result of mold. We had 2 hurricanes here, and before that, our house was falling apart. So I'm in the midst of that. I started another certification a year ago where the practitioner that I still highly regard said, hey, one of the big reasons to do this is to let us help you figure out what you're dealing with. That didn't happen, but I now found a practitioner that is mold literate, has been through it, etc. And I would love to do this, but I'm afraid to do it now. And my bigger question is there a way that I can find out how you navigated your own situation if you're willing to share? Maybe not on this call, but some other way.
Right on. It's been a process, shall we say. So I think that there's a myriad of, so this was over 10 years ago, and I'm still peeling off, I think, hopefully the last layers. But the practitioner I worked with most recently is Sinclair Canale and her partner Michael, and great folks. Ultimately, so here it is, the truth about veterinarians. I told you we're introverts. We all have imposter syndrome, and a lot of that is underlying the chronicness of the disease. So to be fair, part of it is a physical healing journey, and part of it was a spiritual and emotional healing as well. And I have to say, I am feeling better than I have in a lot of years. But yeah, it's been a heck of a ride for sure. So it's been a ride. And you're wise, because if you're in a place where you're just starting recovery, you don't want to stress yourself out. And I think one of the best lessons I got was understanding I've got a limited amount of energy. And so how am I going to spend that amount of energy during the day? And so if we look at it like I've got 10 spoons of energy, and literally to start with, I had to put 10 spoons on the counter every day. And divide every 2 hours or every hour and a half during the day as a spoon. So there's 5 spoons just on existing. And then the other 5 spoons, I had to choose carefully about how I was going to spend that energy and on what. And that's the best advice I can give you. All the rest of the stuff you're going to start to figure out. One of the most recent discoveries is this thing, which is, I don't think it'll show up on the screen, but it's a Nicky device, and it emits frequencies. And I have to say that this has up-leveled considerably my ability to tolerate different environments. So it's been very cool. And they've got set of programs designed for chronic Lyme, and then another just for wellness. The Lyme program has a mold program on it as well. But take it easy. Take it easy on yourself, and don't try to go too fast. The other thing I realized this year is that I'm still very sensitive to things. So what might be the standard issue protocol, I have to take in microdoses. And the microdoses end up being just as effective as what the full bore could be.
I have one related question, and it may be as useful for animals as it is for humans. And that's that I think I read, I'm not sure, that cancer can be an outgrowth of mold.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm asking is all of a sudden, after being at 150 or higher and my vitamin D3 level as tested for the last 5 years, suddenly I've got what looks like squamous cellular carcinoma. And I'm wondering if the mold has set me up for that.
Yes, it does. And it alters your immune defense. And so if your immune system is busy fighting the mold, it can't do the rest of the normal surveilling, right? And this is relevant to pets because their exposure level to all of the things, the mold, the PFASs, all of the chemicals that are in our houses, is they carry a load somewhere between 3 and 93 times ours.
Ouch. I have
And
two 2-year-old rag dolls, and I'm very worried for them. Is there anything that your course or you can tell me?
Yes, so we do have a mold protocol for pets, and that's where, if you're not ready to go through the course, that's where working with a coach now may be your best option to get some peace of mind that you're helping your pets detoxify, and those concepts are all coming from the human side, from the functional medicine side.
Is there much in the way of cat support? Because honestly, I've had vets tell me that cats are alien creatures, unlike anybody else, and because they don't like to be stuck, there's very little data on them.
But wow. Okay. They are aliens. I mean, look at the things they do. They're bananas. And they're not small dogs, but there's a lot of things that we can still apply to them. But yeah, I mean, we end up talking more about dogs because that's where most of the interest is. But there is a big growing interest in cats. And in fact, Marina Piscavera, Melissa Sherman, who's our other cat coaches? Delora,
Melissa Natanzan.
Okay, yeah. So we've got several coaches that deal with kitties, and Marina is a cat breeder from, I think she has Sphinx, and Marquetta Jefferson, we're super proud of. She is in Oklahoma City. She got onto the Blocks show. If you are interested in business building, evidently it is, I don't watch much television, but it is one of the biggest reality TV business startup programs out there. So she is out there representing, and she also has Sphinx kitties. So she's like, holy smokes, there's cameras in my face everywhere.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I would be very interested in talking with a coach has experience with your mold protocol.
right on. So click that link Delora dropped for you, and you can also email Delora at holisticpethealthcoach.com, and she can point you in the right direction. Cool.
Okay. Thank
What
you.
else, y'all? My pleasure. And I'm sorry you're having that struggle, but I'm glad you're out of the environment.
Well, I'm not out of the environment. That's what I'm working on.
Yes.
Thank you.
Step by step. You're welcome. Joanna, so where we deal with is more, and I'm sorry to hear you're having this experience with your pup. What we deal with more is basic concepts and how to apply them to support general areas. So, for instance, that could act like a tumor. It could act like a function problem. And so again, yeah, I mean, this is something that we would help you work through as you go through the course. And in fact, that's where that consultation call with your mentor would be very valuable, because they'll get you started in the right direction so that you can start getting answers. And here's another thing I think that we forget about. When we're doing holistic medicine, it's not take this pill and it's going to be better in a week. We've got these chronic issues. I mean, we've had people whose dogs have had diarrhea for all of their lives, which is 10 years at this point. And so their goal is to, like, how can we actually get a little bit better? And so over time, that's a 6 to 8 month process. And I think that if we go into that and explain to our pet parents, hey, this is not going to be better and done in one. This is going to be a process, and you need to be prepared to keep working at this. And we will hit some wrong turns periodically, and we're going to need to make a pivot. So it is, the cases, the pets that coaches are being asked to work with, frankly, made my toes curl when they came into my practice. But that is the level of desperation out there. People are not getting the help and the answers they need. And so they are like, help me out here. And we help them by being patient and being clear and upfront with them that this is indeed a process. So it's a tough one for sure. All right. Any other questions, y'all? All right, Rana and Sandy, if you'll drop the link, if you want more information, book a call with Rana and Sandy. If you know you're ready to commit, we're going to drop a link where we ask you to make an investment of $250 to signal your commitment. We'll get you on a call with Rana and Sandy to get everything completed, get you rolling, get you in the course. And thank you for your time today. I'm really honored that you took time out of the middle of your day. I'm honored that you're here and that you want something different. And I think that's what makes change happen. So thanks to you all. Hope to see you on a coaching call real soon. And thanks for all the coaches and students that showed up to support. Their experience, I think, is worth more than my words at any rate. Take good care. Ciao.